Hey, mm, as far as you can see, I'm Chinese, so there are many classic shows that may be famous or familiar to you, but I haven't watched at all. And I just started to watch the classic show, The Office, and I have only watched 7 seasons. And the 2 seasons were different from other seasons. The first one is season 4, is I could say very notorious or just very bad to me. And the next one is season 7, the season Michael has left us. I don't know, has left the show. Sorry, the expression lefting us is kind of strange, you know. So the reason why season 4 is so different, I think, is because it broke all the rules I knew about creating art. And I heard that when this season was being created, there was a strike of the writers. So maybe that explains a little about why it's so bad. The first rule it broke is the emotion curve rule. Emotion curve rule was, or should I say, as far as I have concerned, was literally proposed by the author of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. What's his English name again? Sorry. Hirohiko Arashi. Sorry, because I'm Chinese, so we share the characters with Japanese, and the characters, the kanji or Chinese characters looks the same but pronounced differently. So I have to check to know how his name is pronounced. Okay, back to the main topic. So this guy proposed this emotion curve theory is that when the readers or the audience are watching the show, watching the comics, or reading the comics, they have some feelings. Some of them are positive, like happy or attracted or something like that. That's positive. And that is also line is neutral. It means no sense. I have no sense for the character or the plot or the show. And the worst one is negative. Is I am very angry or very upset about what is going on. And the main theory about the emotion curve is that the best curve for a show is a, let's say, up and down curve, but every up should be greater than down. And even when there are some downs in the curve, it shouldn't be deep down to the negative part. So it could be like at the start there's a slightly positive, and then counts the first climax, and then a little down, and then the second climax, and another anticlimax, and it keeps going on like that, but never goes down to the negative part because it will bother readers very much, and the worst result may be the readers will quit reading the comics or the show. But what is the difference about season 4 of The Office is that the occasion that the whole thing is going down in the negative part happens even just for some episodes, but it happens for the whole episodes. Like there is an episode about Ryan's website is going to taking place of the actual networking between the salesman and clients. Actually, we know that will not happen, but websites are truly very important. That's like the trend. And Michael was very upset about this at the beginning of this episode. And you know, with the story going on, nothing changes. He figured out something. He tried to resolve it, but result is that he had nothing. He bring some gifts to the clients, try to take them back, but nothing happened. And even as funny, he drove the car to the lake. He was even worse than the beginning. And this emotion curve happens to many episodes in this season. I know that some creators want to add some realistic topics to the show, to the work. But the question is, could you handle it? Could you handle it properly and deliver it properly to the audience? Because it's very hard. And you have to know that this is a sitcom. This is not some classic and profound works. This is just a sitcom. And yes, I have to say, a sitcom could deliver some really profound and realistic topics, like in the show How I Met Your Mother. There are some famous episodes about Matthew's father dies, right? But look at how the other creative team deal with it. So in the episode, spoiler alert. So in the first episode of Matthew's father's death, there is a counting down, from 100 to 1. And if you notice that, you will be attracted. And this counting down ends at the ending of this episode, when everyone is looking forward to a surprise, to a good ending, like a new baby or something like that, and like pregnancy. The only result is that Matthew's father was dead. And the audience will not feel like unacceptable or negative at the first time, because he counts the counting down. There should be a good ending after counting down. That's the rule, how the world works. So they are shocked, but no negative feelings. Okay, that's a good point. If you want to do some realistic delivery, don't take the mood to the negative parts, but even take to the neutral parts is okay. Neutral line is okay. And then he counts the second episode, and the second episode is about the funeral of Matthew's father. Okay. We all know that there are 5 stages of some bad things, of how people are handling the bad things, like shock and rejecting, angry, and numb, and accepting. Because there is like a jump from the last episode about death to the next episode, the funeral. Funeral is like the results of death, and there must be a let's say duration between the death and funeral. So in the words of this show, there's a duration, and in the duration we can imagine what people is going through. That's why we are basically like, we jump the negative parts. We jump the angry and rejecting stages. We don't have to go through these negative parts in the show. Actually, yes, in the end of the funeral episode, there are stages like rejecting and angry, but that's emerged correctly and very, I could say, elegantly into the sitcom styles. And I think if you want to talk about the realistic topics in a sitcom, at least you should deliver it in a more acceptable way, more well-organized way, instead of just throwing in some realistic topics and give the audience who love this show some emotional damage. Yeah. This is the first rule, and the second rule is that. And the second rule is about the essence of humor. I think no one could tell the essence of humor. But there are so many series, but no one could just convince each other. But I believe one rule is that the reason why you feel something is funny because maybe something is very dangerous and is happening, but it's nothing. It has nothing to do about you. You're very safe. You're just watching, so you will feel relaxed and funny. And I think the show's Office explains the theory very well because they both Michael may be the most weird boss in the world, and if he has to done something like that from the show to you in reality, you feel like manic. I don't know, but first, his behaviors in the show is so irrational that it couldn't happen in the real world. That's the first thing. And second, you barely know these characters. Michael is some strange guy. Jim is some guy that like to prank others, and Dwight is a kind of like a nerd. Okay, these are very typical stereotypes. So you know them just as some flat people. You don't know them as round people. That's the second thing. And if you view them as flat people, you will not have the empathy for them. And the third one is that in the show, sometimes you see karma, like when the Dwight did something bad, the Jim will like prank him, and when Michael did something bad, he will have to took the camera back. So that's the system. And that's the mode. Why the Office is so funny, humorous. But the question is, in the season 4, Michael is screwed so much. Like in the dinner party episode, I don't know why everyone said that is like the best episode of this whole show. I could not say something like that because in that episode, Michael was totally tortured. I could say tortured by Janet. We have to know that this is the season 4. We have watched 4 seasons of what Michael is like. We have known that he is not someone that's evil. He's just kind of I can also say stupid. I could say weird, or like kind of like autism. It's trying to be nice. It's trying to be nice, but he's always doing something in the wrong way. But in some, I could say, extreme occasions, he's very reliable. And now you have known him as a round people. Like the good part, the bad part. He's like some real friends in your life. And then you cannot touch him just like that. You have to know that his love to Janet is real. He is expecting to that. That's like what he has sacrificed most to get. The love between him and Janet. But in this episode of Dinner Party, it's all, let's say, it broke all the fantasy. It turns out that that's like the life between Janet and Michael is not good at all, and the love is just a fantasy. So Michael is tortured so much. So under that case, Michael is so close to us. He's like our friends. Torturing him will not make us love. It's only making us suffering just like him. I think that's the main true reason why the season 4 is so strange. And I think I could bring season 7 here right now. Because in the episode that Michael left and he comes a new manager, the Italiano guy, D'Angelo. This show especially shift to another vibe, The distance between the risk happening in the show and us is very important. But when the D'Angelo is doing something that may really happen in real life, like the inner circle episode, is very very frequent and is very common in real life, right? So when it's happening on the show, you will not feel it's funny or something like that. You will just feel strange, and personally, I don't like that episode. So I think maybe this two rules could explain why I don't like season 4. And second season I want to talk about is season 7. Is Leave of Michael. I will have a short review. I don't know why the creating team will not continue the contract between Michael and the team for two main reasons. The first one is that this show is so successful, and Michael is like the main character. Michael is like the spring rain. In Chinese, it means that you cannot feel it, but is very important. Is happening actually everywhere, every moment. For many seasons, Michael is very strange. But that's the mode. That's how this show could deliver the humor. And now you have to replace Michael. I don't know why. It's not just about the character. It's not just about someone. It's the one that how the whole humor mode is keep going. And second reason is that if we could admit that the main character is very important, so the actor should be very important too. And if we just discontinue the contract between him and the team just because he's charging too much, come on, think why he's charging too much. Because he's very capable. And if you turn to someone who charges for cheaper than him, it may imply that he is not so good at playing this role. So the only result of this choice is that you are risking the future of this show. I don't know, and I have no idea why you are doing that. Okay, so that's my comment on season 4 and season 7, and I just started to watch the first 3 episodes of season 8. It's still very, I could say, inspiring and sometimes very relaxed, but the vibe is like kind of different from what I expect to watch in the show The Office. So should I keep watching or should I just switch to another show? Please tell me in the comments. Thank you very much. Привет, товарищ, and Boots here. I forgot to say the catchphrase.